Welcome to the Wellness League podcast Try Me series. I am Ella.
And I'm Amanda from TriFit.
And I'm Emily.
Oh, are you?
Yes, I'm Emily.
Throughout this series, we'll be covering everything in the sport of triathlon from your first race.
Right up to competing in sprint, Olympic, 70.3 and Ironman, giving you all the tips and tricks from our experiences in the sport.
So in episode 6, we are covering all things cycling. So how to start training, building up distance and time, and the important thing, which is coffee. So, Ella, how did you start cycling?
Oh, honestly, I was the biggest spin class lover you've ever met. When I became a trainer, that's pretty much, I was just doing all my cycling on the spin bike and just jumping in every spin class I could. And then I would try and get on the road maybe once or twice a week just so I could remember how to click on a moving bike. But yeah, pretty much in between that, I have a concept bike and my road bike and the trainer. But how did you get into cycling and what's your tips?
Oh, okay. So I was super lucky when my dad's a big avid bike rider. But I remember my first bike ride, man, like trainers down the road, and I was like, what? Why would you do this, boy? Why would you wear Lycra? And now you look at me. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. My dad would never let it down. Anyway, honestly, I just started building up again and again and again, and I think I found a few girls my sort of age that was like interested in getting into it too, and I found that really, really cool as well to like cycle with some girls, have a coffee, and just build it up and up. And I find that cycling, for some reason for me, I felt like the more I did it, I could see the most improvements compared to swimming and running. Yep. So for me, it like was that enticement, like, I'm getting better at this, I want to do better at it. And it was also a great way, like when we were moving around, to explore a lot too. So I really enjoyed it that way. But cycling was a start for me to get into triathlon.
Nice.
Yeah.
And your cycling journey?
My cycling, I was in a running group and a couple of friends had bikes. A couple of people in the group had bikes and were doing triathlon. So I picked up a secondhand bike from someone at work and I never wore sneakers with it. I went straight to cleats, fell over. I'm the person who fell over at lights because I forgot to clip out. And someone said to me, you need to do that at least 3 times to be called a cyclist. So I did it 4 times because I am a cyclist.
I wasn't a fall over the lights, but on the driveway when I got home, every time my knees were like fully battered.
Did have scars on my elbows and knees from falling over, but persevered because I think everyone does it. Persevered, and I love it. I love being out, particularly out in the hills or out where there's not many cars. It's just, you're free. It's fun. So free. It's just having the wind in your face. I just love it.
It's so fun. And onto that as well, just with the cleats. I'm just like thinking back to it. Like, so many people get a bit nervous about cleats. But at the end of the day, like, they do actually, I find they really help. Like, the pulling up and the pushing down. Yeah. So, like, a little tip towards that I found is one to just get out and do it on flats and on, like, roads that you're really familiar with. So you don't have to think about the direction you're going on. Yeah. Getting out and doing it, practicing it. But also, like, I also would get on the spin bike and clip out, clip out. And also loosen up my cleats. So that means it was easier for me to clip in. And then over time start tightening them more and more
It's crazy how using them, you use so many of your bigger muscles, and then so you're like your quads and your hamstrings are working together rather than it's just all quad and you just blow up. But yeah, the same. I used to ride with my cleats on the spin bikes so that when I went on the road with also my cleats, I was used to getting in and out and using the muscles up and
that was one of the first tips I got from a cyclist, was just practice even as you're riding and you don't need to clip out, just clip out and then clip back in and do both legs so that you can do both. I have actually just only gone to one now. I always do my right, but and I wish I'd learnt the left because it's easier to go onto the curb.
Of course,
but anyway, that's just I do left
and then
right.
On your bike, in terms of your drink bottles, is that how you take your nutrition?
Yeah, I use 2 bottles usually, one with water and one with a sports drink in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I have just water and electrolyte just because my stomach doesn't do well with I wish I could have the other stuff, but it doesn't do well. So then I have either in my pockets gels or bars, or I've got like, if I'm riding my TT bike, a little box as well.
Yeah, I've noticed them on most of the TT bikes now, which is really cool.
Yeah, so I have them,
It's
but
like
my
your little
road.
lunchbox.
I've heard a lot of people saying they use duct tape to put their gels and things on their bike too, which is such a cool idea.
Yeah, whatever works for you, honestly.
Yeah.
Whatever you're able to get all the nutrition you need and works for you 100%.
And talking about the importance of getting a bike fit, well, this is how you met your husband. If you listen back to the episode with Amanda and Tim on the main podcast, there's a whole story about how they met.
Yes.
But the importance of a bike fit.
It's so important, because if you don't get a proper bike fit, then you're going to get sore knees, you're going to get sore shoulders. You're just not going to be as efficient on the bike.
Yeah.
So you need to be fit properly for it.
Yeah.
And most bike shops can do that. Most bike shops have someone there that can do it. So if you're buying a bike, get a bike fit.
Yep.
Otherwise, there's plenty of people around. Just have to Google your bike fitters in your area.
Yeah.
My husband's taken.
But you can give him a call to help you. In terms of your bike, what do you carry on in terms of maintenance? So when you're riding, what spare parts do you take?
So first thing, I guess it depends if you have tubeless or tubed wheels as well. But I always bring, it depends if you prefer like the CO2 or if you prefer a bike pump, you can choose. I'm pretty unco with all this stuff, so I have a bike pump just because I know how to use it and feel a bit more comfortable. But on my TT bike, I generally have a CO2 just in case, especially when I'm racing. My gravel bike and my mountain bike is tubeless, so with them I just kind of bring some things you can stick in the wheel, like the tubeless sort of things that will help you, but you're a little bit more in strife if you have a big issue with tubeless. But if you do have tubes and spare tube, bike pump, and all the jazz.
Yeah, most service stations used to have the connection for the bike thing. But the last time I went out on a ride on my bike and needed my tyre to be pumped up, the one service station I went to didn't have it, and I had to ride all the way home with a back flat tyre. It was great fun. Don't recommend, because I was sliding all over the bike lane.
Do not recommend.
Having the right pressure in your tyre is important, because otherwise it's really hard to ride. And there is a good link where you can put in your height and your weight, and it tells you what pressure to ride.
Cool. I'll tag it in the show notes.
Put it in the show notes. You can have a look at that.
Cool.
And it depends on the bike you have as well. So like, for example, if you have a gravel bike or a road bike or a TT bike, they run on different pressures too.
Yeah, you also taught me that you need to pump your tyres up quite a lot more than I thought.
Yes, at least every week.
Yeah,
all the time. Actually, every time I ride a check.
Check them every time you go.
Yeah.
And you can get a gauge that will check it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I just know by feel.
Yeah. Well, do you?
I do. I do actually.
That was a game changer for me. That was a game changer for me, because I always thought it was, but then we got a bike pump that has a gauge at the bottom, and it's way flatter than I think it is.
Right.
So then I'll have to pump it up more each time. Like even this morning, I was like, Liam, it's fine. And he's like, no, it's not.
The good thing about being married to a bike mechanic, he pumps my tyres. So, yes.
Fun fact, how many bikes do you both own?
3.
Jeez.
Only 3.
In your whole house, though?
Oh, no, not in my house.
I was going to say,
I have a mountain bike, a road bike, and a TT bike. Tim has a gravel bike that he changes wheels for.
As shown on his YouTube channel. Yes, I will also tag it.
So he can have it as a gravel bike or a road bike, and then he has a mountain bike. So there's 5 in our house. But you would probably go crazy. Liam's a bike rider.
I think we have like 9 in our house.
I've seen your garage of bikes. It is very impressive.
It's
did say to Liam, it does look like a bike workshop in here.
It does.
It's so clean.
It does. Yeah,
it's
he's
very good.
Very efficient about it.
Shout out to Liam and his bike.
Well, because we both have a gravel bike, we both have a mountain bike, we both have a road bike. I have a TT bike, and then my dad's got his aeroad bike there, which Liam borrows. So
I have a road bike. I'm hunting or in shopping for a triathlon bike.
Nice.
And I have a Concept 2 bike, which is obviously just like a CrossFit bike. But I do like riding that just to get the K's in the legs.
I forgot. Liam has a commuting bike as well. That's another one. Oh my gosh.
Is there anything, hot tips that you'd like to add to your cycling? Don't forget to wear your helmet.
Yes, need your helmet.
Sunglasses I find is a game changer too. Like if you can invest in a good pair of sunglasses. And I'd also say build your gear over time. Like cycling gear can be very expensive, and some people think like, oh, I need everything at once. And like I've been in Adelaide for 2 years now, and it's cold here, and you just build it up over time, but you can layer. Like I used to just put regular t-shirts on underneath and all that sort of stuff. Like it's great if you can have this stuff, but it's okay to just build it up over time.
You know what's good? The quad lock, so you can have your phone if you don't have the little computer, so you can use a map.
Yep.
Because I'm always getting lost when I ride.
Yeah. And find a group of people like that you feel comfortable around to ride with, and like usually people usually people when they love riding, they do not care about the pace, they do not care about the distance, they're just excited to ride with you. So don't be afraid to ask people to ride.
Big news time. We have a big brand new sponsor for the Wellness League podcast. So, can you guess who it is?
Hi, I'm Lana from Live and Breathe Active, or LAB, a small family-run business run by a group of passionate people that, well, we live and breathe this shit. Whether it's run, swim, cycle, or try, we make gear to get you through those tough training sessions. We help you get up before sunrise, and we will still be there with you well after sunset. You will see us before you hear us, with bespoke prints designed by artists just for you. We are driven by our values and are focused on performance and community. And we are super proud to be partnering with the Wellness League podcast in the Try series. Find out more or shop online at liveandbreatheactive.com. We can't wait to have you as part of the crew.
How good is that, hey? Discount codes and the link will be in the bio. But you know what? Let's go back to the pod.
Also, how do you get your bike to one place to the other? So I honestly just put the seats down. Okay, guys, I'm not as pro as you two yet. So I will just put the seats down in the back of my car and it will slide in. But I have friends who have roof racks as well.
We have a
or
van.
The back of the car. Or that.
Van.
Where's
So
the
ours
boot?
goes in the van.
Yep.
We do actually have a bike rack as well for trips when we need the bed in the van.
Yeah. We have a ute, so we slide it in the back, or we've got the thing that goes in the back of the ute tray, and we like put the wheels over the front.
Yeah.
My first one though was I had a Corolla, like a hatchback, and I had this contraption that just attached to the back
window.
Yeah. And the bike went on there. It was great.
Yeah.
And it was easy for me to do on my own, because I think I find putting them on roof racks too hard.
Yeah, it is quite high up.
Or tall enough.
And then your bike box that you, when you go and race interstate, if you're flying, or to keep it kind of, I'm not sure if you use one, obviously, when you don't use, when you take the van, but do you have a hard or a soft bike box?
So we don't have one at the moment, but when I did travel overseas, I borrowed one. It was actually from Triathlon Australia, and it was a soft one.
Okay. A lot of people have soft ones, but
I have a hard one. It's just a second hand from my dad, and honestly it's pretty old, but it does the job. I've literally gone and like used a cardboard box before when I couldn't afford a bike bag, but bike bags are great, and especially nowadays they like pop up, they roll on the ground, they're fantastic. You hardly have to take your bike apart, so there's so many options.
Yeah, that's also another thing. If you have to take your bike apart, what do you do when you get to the other side?
I've done it once when Tim wasn't with me, and I FaceTimed him.
I was the same. I was getting him to do it.
I am getting better, but often if you go to races, they have mechanics there.
Yeah.
So you can go to the expo and there'll be someone there that can help you put it back together, or just give it a check over if you've been able to put it back together yourself.
Nice. Yeah. And your triathlon bikes, what are you riding?
I ride a BMC. It's beautiful. Time Machine.
Very nice looking.
It's a very nice bike. I got it last year, and at the end of last year, and can't wait to race in it more.
Yeah. My road bike is a Live, but I am shopping for something else, and I don't want to take my road bike to Busso, so hence why I am shopping for a triathlon bike, because I think if I'm training for such a big race, why not treat myself?
Exactly. Well, that's why I bought mine, because mine was quite old and I was training for Busso as well. So
Busso makes you buy a new bike.
Yeah.
What are you riding as your TT bike?
I'm riding a Canyon Speedmax.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got that during COVID, right before the whole bike craziness went, so they had a massive special, and I love it. I haven't had any issues with it, and feel pretty good on it, so can't complain.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything else?
Just
Stop
get out there
coffee.
and stop for coffee and just get out there and ride.
The other thing is, when do you have your coffee? Do you have it towards the end of your ride or midway?
Yeah.
We were talking about this before. I just can't stomach the milk and keep riding.
Oh, I don't know. If it's a pretty good cafe, I'll stop midway.
I just find it hard to go again. I think because my body knows coffee's at the end.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, hang on, I still have to ride another 30, 40, 50 Ks.
It depends how long my ride is. Like, if it's like a 30, 40K ride, then I would do like at the end. But if I'm probably going for 100, 120, I'll usually go mid just to keep me going. A little
Well,
bit more.
when I do my
Motivation.
20k rides, I have one before.
Yeah.
You'll be going longer than 20k soon.
Okay,
Yeah.
You've
when
got
you-
a race to train for.
Well, I have done a 45k and it was alright, so didn't die. What is your favourite place to ride in Adelaide?
The hills. Love the hills. And we only just moved here less than a year ago, and I just can't get enough of the hills.
Nice.
Yeah, love it.
You could take me up there. And
No,
you-
I agree. Like, it's so rare in Australia, you know, to leave the city and then go up and then vineyards are on your right
Yeah.
and then you get views of the ocean on your left. Like, it's a phenomenal place to ride and it's so beautiful up there. So I agree.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I like riding around Vic Park. Or else, my other favourite ride is like West Beach to
Yeah.
Outer Harbour and back.
Yeah, that's a
Nice.
good one too.
Because, again, you have the ocean close by and the cars are
It's pretty
kind of
good bike,
understanding.
good bike lanes.
Yeah.
Adelaide is an amazing city to ride in.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. So, is that everything?
Think so. Riding's fun. Have fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this podcast. It will be out on Spotify and YouTube as a video and Apple Podcasts. But in the meantime, go and follow us on the socials. I am at discovering_ET and the Wellness League Pod. Amanda, you are?
I am on YouTube, TriFit with Tim and Amanda, and on Instagram, trifit.tim.amanda.
And you are,
Just on Instagram, Emily Barrett 101.
Love that. I'll also tag our Stravas in the bottom so you can laugh at our training or laugh at my training. You'll see me go up Norton sometime soon. All the links are in the bio. Thanks heaps to Live and Breathe for our lovely tops. And see you next Friday. Bye.
Bye.
That was great.
Oh, bike riding's fun. Take it.
And crack jokes however you want because they're very fun to have in the middle.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh, there we go.
I feel like
They're
we're like
ready.
the imperfects and I'm the comedy
Yeah.
guys. It's in the middle cracking all the dumb jokes. Anyway,